man, the myth, the legend, Bach Nero. How are you, man?
Yo, I'm groovy, bro. I'm great. Feeling good. Feeling good. Can't complain at
Fantastic.
all.
Can you give me a little bit of an intro into like what you do in the music industry? Because I know it's kind of a lot, and you kind of have an extensive backstory. So I don't want to mess anything up. So can you give us a little bit of an intro into like what you do?
Man, all around artist, from executive producer to starting off as a vocalist, rapper, singer, uh, DJ, fashion designer, just all around artist. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Mainly, like I said, executive producer, rapper, DJ, singer.
awesome. I didn't know you did the fashion stuff.
Yeah, yeah. I got a couple of designs right here. So this is my Fuck Fear
Oh
line.
yeah, that's right.
So I started Fuck Fear Travel More probably about like I want to say like 2 years ago. No, like
Okay.
3 years ago. 2019, and before I was running with like Worldwide Nero, and it was more so like focused on me as a artist specifically, but I wanted to have something that was more of a lifestyle brand that fans could gravitate towards and kind of relate to, and just
Is that where like your logo? Did you use your logo for both your artist project and your clothing?
So initially, I started. It was separate. I started off
Okay.
as the Fuck Fear logo because initially the droopy smiley face. It was an
Yeah, yeah.
accident. It originally,
Okay.
yeah. So I had these sweatpants, and I was on the roof and I was painting. I was doing like intuitive painting, and me and my friend, we was just sitting on the rooftop, and we was just putting like different like stuff on the sweatpants, and I was like, you know what? Pass me that can. I want to put a smiley face on the kneecaps. So I'm doing a smiley face, and she's doing the other smiley face on the kneecap, and the paint start dripping. And she got scared. Oh my god! I'm like, nah, let's keep it like that. Like it was supposed to be like that. It happened. It's for a reason. Let's keep it. So the smiley face kneecaps ended up bleeding, and I'm like, you know what? Let's just keep it like that. You know what I'm saying?
That's
So
dope.
after that, I started incorporating it into like my visuals, because, like I said, I started off with it being a lifestyle brand that my fans could connect to, or just people, who supported me could connect to. So now, I'm able to incorporate it in the shows because it reflects me as a person, and anybody that
Yeah,
can
when
relate to the message.
when I see that, it's definitely I immediately think of you. So you've done a good job with your branding. Um, Take me back to you're from Philadelphia originally, or do you still live in Philadelphia?
No, I live in Las Vegas now.
Okay. What caused you to move out to Las Vegas?
It's just a bigger market for dance music. I learned a lot more. Like I feel like as an artist in your local town, it's easy to get complacent and comfortable. And Philly is a big bass music scene, but
Yes.
it's compared to Vegas is like an event of a specific magnitude might only come every once in a while. You feel me? But like
Right.
over here in Vegas is like every weekend.
Never ending.
It's every
Yeah.
weekend.
Yeah. And with we'll get into this a little bit too, but you signed a lot and you've done a lot of work with Dim Mak, and I know Steve lives out in Vegas. Was that kind of part of the reason as well?
Absolutely, absolutely. Like
Yeah.
that guy creates like a umbrella of just opportunity just from like being around, soaking up game, and just being in the mix. You know what I mean? Like me and Steve are cool. We like tight to the point where if I'm showing up somewhere, I remember I was at his last show at Omnia, and he just introduced me to like Mike, and like now me and like Mike are cool. You know what I mean? So
That's dope. He's huge too.
yeah, like he'll send me like some projects. Like I didn't know he rapped. You know what I mean? Like he's sending me like rap
He
stuff.
like
Like
Mike raps?
yeah, so
What
like
the? I did not know
yeah,
that.
bro. He got like these crazy, and he sent me like 10 songs. He's like, "What you think of this?" I'm like, "Bro, this is like dope. You should." You know what I mean? So it's like we built a rapport based off of like that first interaction,
Yeah.
based off of like
I know you try and do your best to give back to your community from your hometown. Why do you think that's been such a focus for you as you've started developing your own career and stuff like that within the music industry?
It's been a focus for me because like once you like I'm not the biggest. I'm not as big as I want to be yet in the dance music world,
Yeah.
or just, as an artist in general, right? But once you experience
Absolutely.
certain things, and you see certain things, like you travel the world and you like are exposed to, you know, this lifestyle, I feel like you realize like what's important, you know what I mean? And it's easy to get lost in like the lights, the glitz, and the glamour, especially if you're like in it, and
Yeah.
it's just good to be grounded and have something tangible and something real to connect to, or just have a base. I don't know how true this is, but I remember like when Julius Caesar, he was like riding on the chariot through the city and everybody was like praising him and stuff. They say he hired somebody to just whisper in his ear like, "You're merely a man, you're merely a man," like just to remind him and keep him grounded, like don't get too
That's
lost
cool,
in the
yeah.
lights. So that's what that does for me, and like just being able to like just be all right. Let's say I'm in the studio with like Ray Shrimmer and Keisha Cole, or like a Meek Mill, or like a Aoki or a Lil Jon, and it's like regardless of like your status, it's like you get used to it, right? As a professional, this is what you do, and
Right.
you get used to it. So now, like, I remember it was a time where my mom asked me, she was like, "What was Keisha Cole like? This, and that." I'm like, "Mom, she was like a regular person. But at the same time, like, my mom says, "Well, like, everybody doesn't experience that. You got to remember, like, this is like, you know what I mean?" So I'm like, damn, you
Yeah.
know what? This is true. This is like, it might be like somewhat normal to me to live these experiences, but everybody is not their everyday reality. Like, everybody doesn't work in the music industry or like know the etiquette of how to like just move in the studio and like just be around.
Do you plan on ever planting your roots there again, or are you pretty happy with Vegas?
I'm pretty happy with Vegas. I'm not gonna lie, but I do, once I'm able to afford, like, to have a base there as well. Um, I would love to, like
Yeah.
outside the city a little bit, because I got family in the city, but at the same time, just a little bit outside the city, just because of the food, man. I miss the food, like,
I've heard great things.
yeah, you can't beat the food.
What's your favorite food?
Man, I get the salmon cheesesteaks since I'm a pescatarian.
Okay.
Uh, it's crazy. You get a salmon and shrimp cheesesteak on the hoagie roll. It's like, oh my god.
Oh, that sounds
Shouts out to
fire.
Shiz and Steaks and Hoagies. That was the last salmon cheesesteak I had.
Yeah, that's like a huge thing out there. Obviously, Philly cheesesteak, but I didn't know they did it with fish too.
Yeah, yeah. You had. I mean,
Very cool.
you gotta get acclimated with the times and like change. So,
Mm-hmm.
you add to your menu.
Definitely. So going back to music, being originally from the rap industry, who were some of your earlier inspirations? Like, what got you into music originally?
Oh man, some of my earliest inspirations on just like a local level, you had like Meek Mill and like
Mm.
Joey Jihad and like Young Bob. Shouts out to Young Bob. This is his hat. So Young Bob was like the street label called Headshot Records, where like you first seen Meek Mill, Joey Jihad, and like all the local rappers on like the DVDs rapping and stuff. So those guys were like my like, I looked up to them because I got into battle rap, and just it was about spitting bars. You know what I mean? Like every
Mm-hmm.
day you come to your friends and it's like, all right, what you got? All right, what you got? So now you meet up with somebody and y'all battle it out, see who got the best bars, lyric for lyrics.
Why did you choose to go that route when you started originally in like the rap world?
I was doing battle rap and I was good, but my we was in high school, and I'm like, realistically, like what's the like, you can't put battle rap on a radio station and
Mm-hmm.
get spent in different
Yeah.
places. So I'm like, you know what? Let's channel this energy into like making songs. So start making songs. I start making rap songs, very conscious. And by conscious, I don't mean like I'm I'm not like uh like a Kendrick Lamar, but I'm more like I guess you could say like I looked up to like Common and like Most Def
Okay.
and those guys. So I started doing music like that, and then I wanted to test my creativity, so I just kept like pushing the envelope. And eventually, I started doing like punk rap or like rock rap, and
Okay.
I started this group with my friends called Blind Gang, and we was going out dyeing our hairs. We was like wearing skinny jeans before it was like a thing in the hood, and I just like the energy. Like at our shows, it was like, you know, we had the message like our music isn't for everybody, but it's for anybody. We just had these positive messages: be yourself, come as you are, and we would throw these big ragers in the hood, right? But it's crazy because I was just talking to my friend about this the other day. We would throw these big ragers in the middle of the hood. So now you got all these eclectic people like coming to the hood. You got different type of females coming to this hood bar to see us perform, and you got the locals coming from the hood. They want to, you know, this is their bar, but they don't come on these days. But you know what? They got these bad exotic girls here today, so let's come and see what's going on, right? So now like. Now we become culture translators to where as though you can have a conversation with an Egyptian girl, you know what I mean? Because you never see that where you from, like where we from, you know what I mean? You can have a conversation with this person mixed with this who's been here, here, and here, because we provided a haven for that, you feel me? So just piggyback off of that, once I found out about electronic dance music, because of Mad Decent, Diplo's block party that started in Philadelphia, he would bring like just different type of artists and different type of people and different type of crowds. So I remember the first year I went to Ultra. I forget which year it was, but I remember Borgor headlined this stage called the Brazilian stage, and I seen how everybody was engaged and how they was dancing and how they was like, you know, the energy. I didn't understand the music, but I recognized the energy from the music that I was doing in this little bar with about 300 people packed in it, and we got them rocking. I'm like, yo, this is what I do on a bigger scale. I don't understand the music, but the energy is familiar. So let me get used. Let me get acclimated to the music. You feel me? So I start educating myself on drum and bass, the UK dubstep like Screaming Banger and Mount Eden and 16-bit and all them old school guys.
That's
right?
awesome that you started there too. I'm glad you dug back some.
yeah. So then
a lot of people just like, oh, what's new, Excision or whatever, which is great music, obviously, is where he is because of what he does.
Right.
But I think it's so awesome when people are like, let me learn about this culture on a deeper level. And you actually did the digging and went back and listened to like UK drum and bass and like garage and like stuff like that. That's where you started. I think that's so awesome.
Absolutely. So, but that's what I'm saying. Like those were like, this is when like, this is before Skrillex blew up. You feel me? Like I was like Screaming Banger came to do a show in Philly at the TLA, and they was like, cut all the lights off, and it was just like a vibe. So I'm like, yo, it's all these different type of vibes, and I'm like, I gotta get used to like what this sound is, who these artists are, what to expect at these type of shows. So I educated myself extremely like well, you know. And when I started doing music, the first genre I got into it with was dubstep, right? Jake's from overseas. He's from the UK. Shouts out to Jake's. He featured me on a record called I think Deep Trench. It's still, you can stream it. It's called Deep Trench. And
I'm gonna go look that up.
that was my first time like rapping on an established dance music producer's beat. And so after that I just started like building my knowledge, my relationships, and literally like before you know it, I'm on a record with Zomboy and Steve Aoki dropping in the same month, and I'm like, how do I like promote both of them? This, you know what I mean? So it's like, but this was the time when like I jumped super ahead, but like this was the time where like, you know, a lot of DJs were like dropping projects with like rappers, right? So
yeah, which wasn't really a thing like originally.
Yeah.
That was a very foreign concept to mix those two genres together.
Exactly. Super, especially at that time. So now it's like I'm educating myself, and like I'm still a vocalist at this time, you know, so just understanding the different crowds, but I recognize that like vocals over a record bring different genres together, because like a lot of people who get into dance music, or a lot of my fans at the time, were fans of hip hop first. You know, so they recognized a lot of my hip hop records, and then on top of that, they just respected the fact that I understood what I was doing in dance music. You know, with the tracks.
So past that, obviously you just said you've done huge collabs with, you know, I'll list them off as well. Bear Grillz, Riot 10. You did a new song with Shizlo. You've done work with Steve Aoki, Zomboy. What genre of EDM do you particularly like? I mean, you've done a lot of like dubstep and trap and stuff like that, but you also just put out a new song which was like a bass house song. What style do you prefer to write?
I prefer to write trap and bass house. Trap reminds me of, it feels like hip hop. You know, 20. It feels like Migos hip hop, right? When the hi hats came into play, and the patterns got creative, and bass house gives me like I could get super intricate with the flows. Like I can really I got space to like really use my creativity that I accumulated with like the battle rap background and the punk rap background, you know what I mean? So bass house gives me a chance to kind of like get very, very like creative with my voice, animated, because there's not too many sounds to fight with. I'd say trap and bass house, honestly.
When you sit down to write, how do you try and differentiate yourself besides the rapping and stuff that you put into play? Like when you wrote your new track "Move It," what was like your game plan of like, okay, I'm obviously making a bass house track and like with like guys like AC Slater and Jaws and like some of the big heavy hitters. How did you try and be different than like what like the trending style is? Because it is a very unique song.
Thank you. That's the thing. I didn't try to be different. I just got into one of my bags to where as though it's like, I'm going to sit with this record. I'm going to feel it. Like any record that I ever wrote that I feel like did the best, I felt it. I didn't write it out. Like, just to backtrack to Zomboy, Schism flew me out to LA to work on the record with Zomboy. And he had sent it to me a week before. No, like 2 weeks before, and I tried to write to it, and it was like a skeleton, like a rough version of it. And I tried to write to it. I wrote something to it, and then they was like, we want to fly you out to LA just so we can like, kind of like sit down and kind of like mold it, right? So they sent me another version of it 3 days prior to my flight. And then, I just sat with it, listened to it, vibed to it, didn't write anything down. And then when I went out there, we got in the studio, and it kind of just happened, like after I got a chance to sit down with them and like get a vibe for who they were as people, because I didn't know anything about Zomboy before I did the record. My manager at the time just like told me that Schism was a good friend of his, and like this would be a very well respected song in the dance music world, right? Based off of who they were. Never Say Die. Shouts out to Never Say Die.
R.I.P.
But that's how I approach the records. Like it's a feeling, especially if I like get a chance to sit with the person, meet with the person prior to like. There's so many art like Quintino. Shouts out to Quintino. We got a record called No Trends. And we actually met on Aoki's tour when they dropped the record Mayhem, and we was just vibing, just vibing, cooling. And then when it was time to do the record, we sat down, and it just came to me, I remember I sent that verse to him, and I had a cold at the time, so my nose was like stuffed and stuff. Oh, so I sound crazy on the record. So it was like, but I made it work because I like animated my voice. So if you listen to that record with Quintino, you'll see what I'm talking about. But all in all, I just like to get animated and creative with the records and how I approach them. It's a feeling first. Like I turned down a lot of features based off the fact that music is an energy. Music reflects who we are as people, and it's a spirit that you put into the song. If it doesn't feel right, people won't connect with it or gravitate to it. People will sense something's off. You know what I mean? So, yeah, got to be a feeling.
Absolutely. Do you have a different approach? Do you take that same approach with like when you write a rap song, or are you mainly writing only in EDM now?
I write records in hip hop, not as many. But I definitely take the approach in hip hop based off of like it's more I feel like in hip hop it's more like I'm able to put more like not necessarily like I'd say lyrics. Let's just say lyrics to sum it up.
Yeah.
I'm able to get more lyrical. I can get really catchy or creative, but when it comes
Right. Because the flow is coming from the lyrics rather than like the flow of the song.
exactly.
Right? Yeah.
So, but with dance music, I'm paying attention to the key, the energy of the key, and what it makes you feel. I'm paying attention to the progression of the record. Like, it's so many. I feel like sound design and dance music is extremely more intricate than just like, a
Yep.
hip hop record, because hip hop records are vocally driven. Dance music is like, it's more so like a complete experience when it comes to like sound design, right?
Yeah, it's more technical when it comes to sound design for sure.
Exactly.
Where did the whole hood EDM come from? 'Cause I know that's a part of your branding too. Where did that kind of stem from? Like, does that have to do with your writing or your writing style?
Yeah, absolutely. It's a direct derivative from my writing style.
Okay.
It came from just me being a vocalist in the dance music world and not having a space to fit in. Like, I didn't fit in at any of the tables because I made trap music. A lot of dubstep producers was like messing with me at the time on some cool shit, and then I had like house music friends that like I was cool with, but I'd probably never do a record with them based off of our styles, Like shouts out to W&W, like those guys are like some of like the most coolest genuine guys, but at the time our sounds didn't make sense to actually like kind of create a song, so we sent back and forth ideas to one another, but nothing ever came of it. So hood dance music was just a way for me to coin who I was in dance music. Like, I didn't feel like I necessarily fit in with anybody, so I had to make a space for the vocalist in dance music who knew what he was doing, who was educated in these different genres. Like, when I do my dance music shows and I'm just rapping, it's not me doing a start and stop set. It's not me coming in as a hip hop artist. No, I'm coming in from a respect from the perspective of someone who really understands dance music. I know this is a house DJ headlining. I know what my set is going to be curated to do. And but at the end of the day, regardless of what it sounds like, it's still a reflection of me because I'm giving you my story over these songs that I'm featured in. Like, if you listen to any record that I'm featured on, it's a reflection of me because, I'm voicing it.
Yeah, and I've talked to a lot of like top line vocalists and stuff too, and back before I got really involved in this industry, I was like, oh no, it's probably collaborative effort with like writing the actual lyrics and what they say, but like it's all you guys. It's all most of the time, the EDM producers like they produce the music, but you guys write all of the lyrics. You guys so it like really is like at the end of the day almost like your guys' song. Are you working on any other EDM tracks right now? As we're
oh
speaking?
man, I'm so many projects, bro. Sheesh, where do I start?
That means business is good.
Yeah, I got some stuff with Yellow Claw coming up. Yellow Claw and Eurotrash. They're the same group, but it's different sounds. Shouts out to Nostalgics. We got some stuff. AC.
Nostalgics
She's killing it.
She's been killing her career. Oh my goodness gracious!
I love her. Like her what do you call it? Promotion, like the videos and like how she like she's in it. You know what I'm saying? She gets it. She understands it. So I love how she does that. Ray Ray's another crazy like performer. These are people that grab the microphone while they're DJing, like, and I identify with that. So I'm like, yo, you know what? I was glad like to actually get in the studio with them and like work because like great. Cooking up.
Yeah, even like Nostalgic, she does vocal like in some of her own tracks. She does her own vocals. In her own tracks.
We got some stuff with her rapping on it. Trust me, we got some cookers with her rapping. So I can't wait to like.
That's awesome.
Like we ready to release those. Tons of records. Well, Slushy, we got the record coming out tomorrow, and we cooking up some other stuff as well. Who else we got? just tons of stuff, man. Shouts out to AC Slater. We cooking up.
That's awesome.
I'm just in a space where I'm excited to like be able to create, and like now I'm like, since I DJ, it's like I'm like creating the whole vibe now, right? So like now when I was just rapping and performing, it was like, you know, I added to the vibes, and like, you know, it came off more of like being a host, but now it's like I'm creating a vibe and like
Right.
bringing everybody into the full experience. Like now I'm like, I'm very hands-on with everything. When it comes to like the production, of course, the visual production, like the
Yeah, because you make all your own like music videos and stuff. That's like a lot of
yeah,
your work,
yeah.
right?
So like I'll
What parts of the creative portion are you not involved with that you like
so
contract out?
like let's say like the what do you call it? The the cover art, right? So the cover
Oh yeah,
art, like
yeah.
I'll do like a rough sketch and like tell them to a T exactly what I want, but other people have like the tools to create it. But even though I'm super hands on,
Right,
like
right.
I'm not gonna like hold back. Uh, I'm not gonna like hold back something that could be great based off of like my limited capabilities to make it what it, you know, the
Yeah.
final product could potentially be. So you know, I do my intuitive paintings, and like you see my release, No Breaks is like I collab with a artist named Blair. He's a visual artist, and he like took a bunch of like pieces of pictures of me and like glued them together, and then you'll see like my
Okay.
painting that I painted behind it, and it's kind of like
Oh, that's dope. So you do like collaborative like artwork too with
yeah.
for certain people.
So
That's super dope. When did you actually start learning how to DJ?
I started learning to DJ in 2020 during COVID. I feel like we all picked up
Okay.
like interesting fucking like hobbies,
Yeah.
right?
That's when I started the
See, that's dope, bro.
podcast.
We all came off like
Yeah.
that, but so I was in before COVID hit. I was in China in Shanghai, and I had a residency. Well, it was the first uh, show of my residency at this club called Tech Shanghai, and it was like, but I was like vocalist, right? So I had my DJ with me, Shizlo. Shouts out to
Right.
Shizlo, and
Oh, I didn't know Shizlo was there
yeah,
with you.
Shizlo was
I
my
love
DJ
Shizlo.
for like before I started
Yeah,
DJing.
yeah.
Shizlo was my like, er,
That's dope.
hell
He
yeah,
is very
super,
talented.
super, super. Oh,
Yeah.
and we got a back to back coming up. But I'm gonna get into that later. But yeah,
So,
so
yeah.
yeah, so did the show over there, and then COVID hit. Well, no, we did the show over there, and I came back, and then Aoki's tour Neon Future 5 started. So as soon as I got back, went right back on the road for like 2 or 3 weeks before COVID shut everything down, and
Yeah.
I was just at a place where I'm like, yo, I seen the possibilities of like I was always playing with the idea. Like I was all, like, even when like I would do shows and I'm only the vocalist and like Shiz is doing this thing, I knew what to do with certain like knobs and stuff, right? So I'm like, you know, turning the filter on, you know, fading, this and that. So, and I was around it so much, I'm like, yo, if I add this element to my live performance, then I don't have to always explain to promoters and booking agents that, yo, I'm a rapper, but I know what I'm doing in the EDM set, and like, you know, there's like so many
Right.
opportunities that I missed out on because, you know, I know what I'm talking about, but people don't know that I know what I'm talking about, so I can't blame them to a certain extent. You know what I mean? If they never seen the live show, so I was just like, you
Yeah.
know what, this is the perfect time to like actually like really commit to, you know, learn how to DJ. So
Learn how to. Yeah. Have you done a show yet? Like a
absolutely,
DJ set
I've
yet?
done like I've
Okay.
done a lot. Like Riot 10. I went on tour with Riot 10. We did
Okay.
Hawaii. Played Summerfest. I've done Miami. I've done like over, I'd say a good 20 shows DJing.
Okay, yeah, so you're
Yeah.
well on your way
So I
then
first
now.
started like,
Yeah.
but even though I learned to DJ like mid to late 2020, I didn't start picking up shows until like summer 2021.
Okay, yep. So you had plenty of time to practice, and that's good that you're. I didn't know that you were that many shows in. I thought you maybe have done like one or two, but that's good. I didn't know you went on.
Oh yeah,
tour with
yeah, that's
Riot
my
10.
guy. So me and Riot 10, we
Yeah.
probably got like,
That's dope.
I say like 5 records together, if I'm not mistaken. And people don't know,
Okay.
like when I first got into when I first was releasing dance music, Riot 10 was like not only one of the first DJs to remix one of my records that popped off, but he actually produced a record I have called Dollar Signs that was released under Ethica Boxers.
Okay.
So, me and Riot 10 go back, and like that's my dog. So yeah, hella respect for that dude.
Yeah, I've never met him, but he seems like a really cool guy from everything I hear about him. You were talking about how like when you started DJing and stuff, and like the promoters, kind of, you've had some difficulty with that. What are your thoughts on like promoters or agents and stuff like that not being accepting of like rap within the EDM industry, and like what your vision, like not seeing your vision? What's your opinion on that?
So
like,
I look at it from two sides, right? I look at it like people who are comfortable with what they know. Like it's a thing where it's like if it ain't broke, don't fix it. So a lot of times you get them booking the same acts, and they create like a what do you call it? Like an engine, right? And it's a routine, and it's like we're going to book this person this day, this time, at this place, this right now, and then we'll book them at the same exact time next year, and then we space it out and fill it out like that, right? So I get it. You create a formula, an algorithm, an engine that you can trust, that's reliable, and you know what you can remove and put in versus as far as like artists and stuff, and
right.
It's cool, I get it, but from an artist perspective, you're looking at it like, wow, I just want a chance to like show them that I could be integrated into this algorithm and add something new to it and create like a bigger, you know what I'm saying? So
how have you figured out how have you figured out how to show those people
a lot of times it's like I look at it from the perspective of like I'm not there to impress the booking agents or promoters anymore, right? It's like the supporters will get your message across, like exactly.
All they want is money.
Exactly.
So if you can provide that, and you can provide a crowd, and you can bring people to their show, that's really at the end of the day what all they need.
But like if you look at it from like a ground up grassroots perspective, it's like the fans. Like if you build your fans and like you have good music and like a good product, it can't be denied. You know what I mean? Like they will be stupid to ignore you once you get to that point. Nobody wants to miss out on the next Marshmallow.
Absolutely.
You know?
Yeah, for real. Yeah. With working with the people that you have, did that cause any sort of change? Like when they saw you working with Riot 10 and Bear Grillz and stuff, did that start to change anything for you as far as like how much or how many bookings you get, and like on the business side, did that help?
It helps paint the narrative and make it make sense. When I'm at like events and stuff, not necessarily like more bookings, but it's like, all right, once you see that I have 4 songs with Riot 10, he brought me out at EDC Mexico and EDC Las Vegas, and you know that I DJ, then it's like, okay, like let me put this guy on the show at Riot 10. You know what I mean? Like it starts making sense. Like I don't necessarily have to like it's a layup at that point, because it's like they know my songs anyway. Like they're gonna sing Act the Fool word for word every show that I do. So like why not kind of like but then again, a lot of times with the booking agents, it's a thing where they might not see where I'm coming from, or they might not necessarily understand where I'm coming from as far as hip hop, or be familiar with me in the hip hop world, right? So they don't know that I can do all these different things and DJ on top of that. So it's like, all right, let me get the opportunity to show you. So now, if I'm at a let's say I play a festival, and then they're there and they see it, I know I got them. I know I got you. If you see my live show, that's all I just need an ear. I need I need you to see what I'm doing. You know what I mean? That's all I need is a chance and an opportunity to prove to you that like I am not playing. Like I am here to stay. You feel me?
What kinds of things have you been told from like promoters?
I've been
like,
told
booking agents
everything under the sun.
what?
Like it's a situation to where as though all the booking agents, like I'm not gonna say all of them, but I know a majority of them, and I know they know me, and I know they're familiar with what I do vocally. And then when like I meet them at these festivals or just come face to face, it's like it's a rapport already because you're familiar with like someone that I've worked with that you you know have under your agency. So it's just an interesting conversation. It might be like I think it could be a disconnect in like them being jaded by like the bigger hip hop artists that don't necessarily respect the genre, so they just assume everybody lower than the big hip hop artists. Like if the big hip hop artists don't take time to understand what the fuck is going on in dance music, why with the lower hip hop artists, you know? So or not lower, but like less notable hip hop artists, right? And
Right.
I think it's like a disconnect because I could tell you that I'm a rapper that does electronic dance music, and I know how to orchestrate a set till you blue in the face, till I'm blue in the face. And like it's been plenty of times where I've hammered it in there. Well, it's a DJ set, but I rap, but it's a DJ set, and they're like, oh yeah, I get it. And then when they see it in person, it's like, oh my god, wow, you killed it. Are you really mixing up there? Are you really? Yes, I told you this plenty of times, but I guess you needed to see it to understand what I was saying. I've heard everything. It's been venues that wouldn't book me because they said, oh, we don't have a mic. And then it's like, now I don't need a mic.
You don't have a mic? What fucking venue doesn't have a mic?
This is the stuff that I've heard over the fucking like, oh yeah, the acoustics don't sound good with a microphone in here. It's not built to... All right, cool. I don't need that. I'll do a whole set like this with no mic. Still rock it. You know what I'm saying? So that's where I'm at right now.
Yeah.
Like, regardless, what I realize is like regardless of like your accomplishments in one area, it's like you always, I know for me, I feel like I always got something to prove. It's always a chip on my shoulder based off of like me being like a black rapper from the hood coming into this dance music space. And it's like, yo, I'm here to stay. You feel me? Like I'm not, like I'll tell you about the history of where this came from to where we are now. You know what I'm saying?
Well, yeah, we were talking about earlier. You actually dug back to like some OG people, like where you know your roots.
I was going to those shows and not knowing what exactly was going on, but I'm glad I did because these guys like the Mount Eden with the Sierra Leone dubstep record before Skrillex Americanized it, and you know what I mean. Like I know all that. You know what I'm saying? So, I just want, like, I don't think people really understand that from me as a like I said, a vocalist. So it's time to show them, and that's what 2022 is. Like I'm showing them with everything from like the merch, like everything is branded. You know what I'm saying? Like these are underwear, these are boxers, these are the Fuck Fear boxers. So everything's finally coming together, and I understand.
Those are sick.
I understand who I am as an artist and what position I play, and I feel like it's a new area for DJs, right? Because you got your coined DJs like Tiesto. You got your coined like technical DJs like Subtronics. You got your entertainment DJs, right? Like you got the Steve Aokis. You got the Salvador Ganucci's. You got like you know what I'm saying? So it's a lane I know that's coming with like vocalists, the DJ vocalists. Like that's another aspect to the entertainment.
Exactly. Yeah, it's definitely its own lane, which I think is a flourishing lane right now. I would agree with that. Even like I think that even stems back to like some of the some of the trance dubstep kind of crossover too, with a lot of like the big heavy vocals and but yeah, definitely like the rap like we were talking about earlier, like Nostalgic's You. There's a few other people that like who is it? Blue Pill.
Absolutely.
I'm sure you're aware of Blue Pill. Just you guys, and even like Virus
Tons of
Syndicate, like
people,
all
bro.
those guys. Like you guys, there is
Absolutely.
a lane, there is
Shouts
a
out
lane
to
for it.
Blackjack. You got Kalina
Yeah.
Sanders. It's a few.
Yeah.
It's a few. Like Kalina's
Oh, yeah,
killing
Xander,
it.
yep.
Kalina's killing
Yep.
it. And
Yep.
even like you'll listen to Blackjack, Kalina Sanders, and Bach Nero, and it's 3 different type of sets. You know what I mean? But it's still that entertainment vocalist aspect,
Yep.
which is crazy, and I love it.
That's super cool. How much of a difference is the rap in like business wise? I'm not sure if you know that side of it as well, but business wise and like industry wise, how much different is the come up in like the business aspect of the rap industry versus the EDM industry? Is there like
It's
any
a,
like
it's a
sort of
huge
big difference there?
difference.
I don't know much about the rap
So
industry.
as
That's why
a
I'm asking.
rapper, it's all or nothing as far as like success and notoriety.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, don't get me wrong. You can be an independent artist. Like you got independent artists that do well, but when it comes to like live events and stuff, like you could be a mid-tier DJ for however long and still have constant work. You know what I'm saying? And be booked, sell merch, have your core fan base. Versus like a mid-level rapper, it's a lot more harder. You know what I'm saying? And it's very like here today, gone tomorrow. If you're not like at the top or like a food chain in hip hop, you know what I'm saying? And
Yeah.
like all the popular rappers because of how hard it is to get to that point, and then how respected you are once you get to that level. You know what I'm saying? But I feel like the structure of dance music is much more. There's different ways to eat. You know what I'm saying? Versus like the hip hop world, like dance music, you could have a management team or just a booking agent and like be good. You're making your music and then you're dropping on different labels. With hip hop, it's like you looking for that deal, and then like you don't know what anybody does, but you know that like when I say you don't know what anybody does, I'm talking about like far as like the people at the label in retrospect to like in dance music, this is your booking agent, this is your manager, this is your tour manager, this is your business management, this is your day-to-day, this is what I'm saying, like you have that in hip-hop, but it's not like you get a touring agent as a mid to lower tier artist. But like in the DJ world, if I have enough money, I can allocate this to a tour manager. I'm supposed to have my videographer here because I want to capture these moments. I got to recreate this content. I feel like in hip hop, you've become a little bit more dependent on the label than in dance music. You know what I'm saying?
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, because then even in talking like labels and stuff, like at least with you don't necessarily have to sign to a specific, like people do it, but you don't have to necessarily sign your entire project to a specific label in dance music. Like you can release on Dim Mak, you can release on Rude Service, you can release on whatever label you want, and you can be a successful independent artist even as you get into the big leagues.
Even the way you said, sign your project to a label. Like in hip hop, you're signing yourself, like as your, you know what I'm saying? So it's like like little difference is like a big difference,
Oh, that's a huge difference. Yeah, I've never looked at it that way. Thank you for answering that question because I was genuinely curious. Going back to like some of the pushback and stuff that you've gotten with the crossover and your kind of style, how have you managed to like continue pursuing your goals even though that you've gotten the pushback that you have? Like what do you think is like inside of you?
It's like a little bit of like arrogance. It's a little bit of like drive and motivation from like the kids and my family to like the kids that like when I come back home, like I said, it's that thing where like, remember we was talking about sitting in the studio with Keisha Cole and how that's not normal for everybody, but it becomes normal to me because I'm doing it. But now it's like the same thing with like touring and stuff. So now I come back and I got my nephews asking me certain things like, you know, what was this like? Or like, oh, this was cool when you did this. And I'm like, yo, I'm not even registering that you was even paying attention to that, you know? And like, you know, as a
Yeah.
in this industry, you get used to being on stage in front of like, you know, thousands of people. But, you know, in hip hop, that's not normal, you know? Um, and it's a
Right.
blessing to be
Yep.
able to do that and be acclimated to that. Like people ask me, do I get nervous when I go on stage? I'm like, nah, like I don't. And I've been in situations where it's like, even like since I've been DJing, like I've been in situations where like I'm about to go up and they like, yo, the third CDJ don't work, and I'm like, what?
What?
And like I just don't get
Yeah.
nervous. I get excited if anything, and like I'm very calm and settled. The more people, the less nervous I am. If that makes sense. Because it's
That's
like a
interesting.
intimacy thing, right? Like when you are in a room with 10 people, it's very personal. They can see the whites in your eyes. They can see your emotions. You can see their facial expressions. But when it's like 10,000,
Yep.
it becomes like you're on a television and they're just watching you as opposed to like engaging with you, right? And then like 9 times out of 10, if it's
Yeah.
if it's
Yep.
a
Yep.
stage of like 10,000, like I did Ultra Japan with Aoki, and it was 60,000 people in the crowd, 60 or 80,000, and like when I was on
shit.
stage, I'm like, yo, I'm
That's a
gonna run out in the
lot.
crowd, but like, bro, it was like a half a city block away to get to the crowd, so I'm like, nah, there's no way I'm doing that. So
Yeah.
it's like a degree, it's like a separation when the more people, you know what I'm saying?
That makes sense. Yeah. You've obviously dealt with a lot of uh, like having to break down people's walls and prove yourself. You know, you explained that a second ago. What are some of the methods that you've like used to be able to break down like your haters' walls?
It's like a show and prove thing. Like I said, like people who don't like necessarily like what I'm doing with dance music, it's coming from like a personal place. You know, it might be a situation to where as though I'm doing something that they wanted to do, or like you'll get those like sideways compliments where it's like, "Oh, bro, yo, I was doing this like 5 years ago. I'm glad you like finally got it to pop." And it's like, I know that's coming. Yeah, I'm like, I know that's coming from a
Okay.
place of like envy,
Yeah.
but you know, it's like you just wanted to put your 2 cents out there. You wanted people to like look into you, or like it was like like you just had to get it off your chest. But like me, I don't ever feel like that
Right.
when I'm like in a situation where it's like other artists who like doing what I'm doing. Like shouts out to Blackjack. He has his movement. It's called Hood Step, right? Hood Step, and he shot a video. This shit is crazy. He shot a video, a dubstep video in the hood on like the project steps with like all his folks around. I'm like, yo, this shit is crazy. I DM'd him immediately. Yo, this shit is fucking crazy, because at the end of the day, like, I'm not intimidated by like, you know, someone who's doing like something cool, because I know like I'm confident in what I do. You feel me?
Yep.
So yeah, but like immediately I hit him up like, yo,
Absolutely.
bro, this shit. Not even like, yo, we gotta work or connect. Like, nah, this shit is dope. Like, you are pushing the envelope forward. And if as long as I'm doing what I'm supposed to do, I'm a be like in that conversation. You feel me? Like when he talk about the DJs, the DJ rap singers, the DJ artists who are like getting out in front of the crowd and turning up, they gonna have to mention me. It's gonna sound foolish if you don't.
I'm excited for that time to come too. As we wrap up here, what is one thing that you would like the up and coming professionals within our scene to take away from what you've done so far within
I'd
your
say
career?
continue to push the envelope forward. That's your contribution to the world. You know, people gotta, before people fly, they gotta walk, and before they walk, they gotta crawl. You feel me? So, no matter what stage you are in the contribution, just contribute. Like if I don't want to say like if you want to see the world be a better place, but bro, like I might be in the stage where I'm like, you know, like it was people who crawled, you know what I'm saying? Like shouts out to Gaddafi Dub. He was one of the people
Yeah.
that I seen like hosting DJ sets and doing like the breaks and rapping on like Flux Pavilion songs. with Flux Pavilion on stage, and like, you know what I mean, Skrillex would bring him out. So it was like that was
Yeah.
him crawling, but now it's like I'm walking, and now it's like, all right, it's time to fly. So like, let's keep pushing the envelope forward, inspiring the people that's coming on after us, and you know, people pay homage, man.
What are some things that we've already talked some of your music that's coming out, but is there any like big performances
Oh
that you
yeah,
can give away that you're excited about?
it's a few things in the works. I've been so focused on like my project, and just the whole approach to it, the whole trap house aspect of it. Still working out a project name, but it's definitely going to be Trap House Incorporated, and just that's the overall brand, right? What I'm excited about is everything that's going on with like just this new sound, and how all the, I guess the DJs who kind of like are established in that sound are gravitating towards me and like welcoming me in, which is a good sign, because I mean I'm doing something right. You feel me? Yeah, just look forward to more releases.
Absolutely.
You know, I got some crazy stuff lined up. It's like releases that I specifically know I didn't want to speak on too early, because like it's a timing thing. Like I'm sitting on like some dope records from like some great trap producers up and coming, some great you know, house producers, some legends, and I'm just excited to be in a space where like just respected as an artist. You feel me? More than anything. So.
Yeah, I'm excited for you, man. Yeah, I think you definitely deserve it from all the knowledge that you've gained, and the homework that you've done, and just like you just are expressed, like you're not afraid to be yourself, and it really shows. So I'm excited for you and for that time to come for you. Where can listeners find you at, and how can they support you?
Anything Bok Nero, BOKNERO, whether it's Instagram, Spotify, anywhere you stream music at. I release sets. I release like DJ guest mixes on my SoundCloud. I just dropped Lemonation 5 with my homies Gold Lemonade, did a guest mix on there. Everywhere you can support the brand. Fuck Fear, Travel More. It's Fuck Fear Apparel.
I'll make sure to link that in the description of
And,
this episode too.
Yeah, honestly, just like I said, I'm all for just building from the ground up and like the grassroots of everything. So like I said, my music is still,
that's awesome.
It's not for everybody, but it's for anybody.
Hell yeah. One last final question. I ask this at the end of every single interview. If there's one piece of advice you could tell yourself when you first got into music and started pursuing your career, what would it be?
There's legends that told me something wouldn't work. Like literally, I remember 2014, 2015, they said you'll never hear hip hop on a main stage in Tomorrowland. I just seen a set where Marshmello played Megan Thee Stallion.
Well, that's happened.
You know what I'm saying? So like I just smile, and like I love the direction music is headed. You know what I'm saying? So hell yeah, keep going.
Thank you so much for being on the show today. I hope you have a great rest of your day.
Peace, bro.